Hello. Yes, it's another video. This one's going to be a different one. It's not going to be a gameplay video, or it's not going to be a sort of deck discussion. Just going to be a quick one to get people ready for store champs that are coming up. Um, this is going to be split into two halves, so if you don't want to bother about the first half, just skip to the other half. The first half is going to be getting into competitive or sort of TCG, competitive TCGs and store champs in general. If this is your first one, and the second half will be getting into it for Blue Steel. If you're hoping to bring Blue Steel to a store champs, so yeah, I'll timestamp it and hopefully you could swap between them. Yeah, just to start off with, if you're brand new to competitive TCGs or you played another one and you're hoping to do store champs, it's great. They're really good fun. If you missed the store champs, last one, awesome that you can join in these ones. They're just amazing experiences. I think it brings everyone together. And you do have to remember that it is a more competitive environment than say your local league might be. If you're just turning up and you play your 3 rounds of Swiss and you get your stickers or whatever, it's not that. There is a level of respect sort of required at this level, because remember there is quite a big cash prize attached at the end of this. I mean, you're not given cash. I don't think you are. But the promo stuff that you win, it was going for close to £500 last in set three. So we can probably expect something similar this set. Maybe dip, maybe increase. But yeah, that brings a level of respect required and a level of sort of decency. Misplays that you might make at store champs. Sorry, at your casual league, sort of like if you try to play a Medusa on a warded target. Most players will, yeah, just rewind, that's fine. No, I know you have a Medusa in hand now, and we'll just call it evens there. Um, you still might be able to expect that at store champs, but it could be that a player's like, no, you've committed, and you've just got to be okay with that. Try not to take that like they're giving you attitude or they're trying to be rude. They're just thinking, yeah, that's probably the appropriate play. So either way, if someone does that to you, say if you're a blue steel player, if someone reduces your Cogsworth, I tend to let them rewind the play and say, well, I know you have a Medusa in hand, so I'll take that information. But it's all well on your right to say, no, continue on with the play. You've already put it on the board, as I believe that's how it's ruled. But yeah, so you're going to bring people that might not even turn up to local leagues. They just scrim and just take things very competitively. Uh, where I was commonly seeing quite a lot of MTG players that just sort of came around for the store champs, hoping to win some promos. And yeah, you're going to see a nice mix of people. Of course, everyone is welcome. So yeah, your Swiss rounds will be missed, and then the top eight might be quite a lot of intense players. Um, but yeah, keep in mind of the level of seriousness that we're playing at. Still try and have fun though, so enjoy it. Yeah, and getting into sort of the practical parts of it, of course, it's going to go through the things you need to bring. Playmat is just fine. Yeah, everyone has a playmat. This isn't a tube, which is lovely. Your deck, don't need to go too in depth on that. You need your cards. And then you've got sleeves. So if you buy like the 100 pack of Dragon Shield sleeves, I'm not sponsored by them. It's just they're cheap in the UK, so I buy them. Just bring the whole box with you. Just bring the 100 because if your cards rip, you can go replace them. Your sleeves might rip over time, and in an event like this where we're taking it a little bit more seriously, a judge might be called if you've got a damaged sleeve or like a mark or something on it. They can call you over and say, hey, just change that sleeve out because they might take that as card mark or anything, and that might just be a genuine mistake. You didn't mean to damage the sleeve, but it's just best to keep these things all in check. We'll go over these ways to track lore at your casual level or something like that. You might not have been used to tracking with pen and paper, so this is how we do it. Sort of, you just track your lore and their lore, and you start at one. You just count down. I use a life pad from MTG. I don't play MTG. I didn't even know what a life pad was until I bought it. Um, but yeah, you might be expected to do it like that. As I say, that's also a good way because it's just nice to track your opponent's lore as well. It's very useful for you to know where they're at, and it keeps it in your mind, I find, as well as stopping the inevitable, the possible threat of cheating. It keeps it fresh in my mind because sometimes I solitaire play and I'm just thinking, right, I need to do this, and I'm not even thinking about where they're at on their board state. So yeah, I think it's good. But sometimes you might find some stores. I'm doing 8, so I'm doing every weekend I can. But I'm expecting that some stores will still be okay with the dial. As I said, it's serious, but I believe it's still entirely up to the store's discretion what they want to do. You might still. I've hoped to dodge them, but I think I saw some doing best of two. Um, events, which I just hate. So, yeah, you might get best of two, you might get best of three. When you make it into top eight, there's a couple ways that you can do it, and if you make it into top eight, congrats, you made a cut, which is a really powerful thing. And that's also something to mention. I'm going on tangents here, but I will just say this one quickly. Uh, if you make through the Swiss and you make it in the cup, but you don't go to top four when you get the promo card, still don't be upset with that. Still be really achieved. Should be really happy for that achievement because I found with Store Champs 3, some players, they would make it into top eight, which is great. Like it should just be celebrated that you made a cut, which is getting into the top cut, to the next stage. But of course, if you don't move to the top four, you actually just miss out on getting the promo card. So there's like a big financial difference between top eight and top four, which I think they could work on. Maybe a different card just for being in top eight, and then another one for top four. But yeah, once you get into top eight, they'll do different ways of, it's called seeding. So the majority of the time it will be player one versus player eight, player two, plays table seven, and then we go down. This is to sort of not discredit, but to treat the person who, I don't really know why this is done, but this is how I viewed it. Is to treat the person who got top seeding fairly because they've achieved more than the other ones. So the person who just got in through top eight, that's great. You all respectfully made cut, but the one who went first should sort of be um, just celebrated a bit more, I guess. It helps with people just IDing in, which is internal. I think it is internal draw, where you both players will just decide, hey, if we both take a draw, we make top eight cut. Um, from that as well, I didn't see any store champs doing this, but it usually would be so player one versus player eight, and player one will decide who gets to go first or not. For store champs, I don't think any of the ones I played at did that. They all did die rolls. So player one versus player eight, and then you die roll. So it doesn't really matter where you land in the top eight in store champs, in my opinion, because you just still die roll and see who gets to go first. But if you watch the regionals, it was higher seedings get to pick who they get, but if they want to go first or not. And right now, with Lorcana, going first is just a fundamental thing. It's so good. You see Zach Bivens' run, what's it called, with Steel Song, and he got top seeding, and I believe he was offered to take draws but denied them and just said, no, I want top seeding because I want to go first versus red blue if I want to win, which is great. Yeah, I talk about draws as well. You might be offered these sometimes. So on average, I did 5 rounds in store champs, and once you got 3 wins under your belt, uh, you're basically in as long as you get a point each game. So you get so what people will do is just offer a draw for the next 2 rounds. So if you get 3 wins and 2 draws, that's top cut. That's just going to make it. Of course, if you get 5 wins or 4-1 maybe, you'll be top of the seeding. But as I've stated before, it doesn't seem to matter too much unless there's that die roll option, unless there's that higher seeding goes first option. So yeah, I'm not saying game the system, play it respectfully, but you're well within your right to offer someone to just take a draw and just say like, hey, look, we've both got 4 wins. We don't even need to play this round. We can take a draw. Okay, there's a few things to it of like you take the draw just to get into the cut. That's fine. But also these things are long. Like actually 5 rounds of intense gameplay can be hard. I mean, think about 9 as well at regional. But there's nothing bad in saying we'll take the draw so I get like an hour to sit here and have a snack or like think things through or like just relax, and maybe walk around and like see how everyone else is playing and stuff like that and just get ready for that top eight finish, because if you're going back to back games where you're going almost to time, that's just a slog. You never get a break. You might not even get to eat anything. You might not get to rest your eyes. So yeah, there's always some benefits to taking the draw on top of it will probably just make you cut. Um, Another thing to cover before I go on to Blue Steel actually is uh, deck lists. Um, yeah, most will do it. They'll have the handout from there's a standard one that you can get from the Ravensburgers website, which they'll usually print out for you, and it will say, character name. Remember when you write the name out, write the entire name out. So I've got a card here just for example. It's the Magic Broom Aerial Cleaner. Yeah, Aerial Cleaner. Don't just write Magic Broom. One event I just wrote Smee down on a card, and yeah, they were like, you can't do that. I didn't even know there was another Smee card until there's a set one yellow Smee card. So that was sort of my issue, but it doesn't matter. Write the whole name down, and as well, We have nicknames for cards like Wheel for Whole New World. Don't just write Wheel. Don't just write Big Tink for Giant Tinkerbell Fairy, whatever it's called, Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. Write the whole name out. It's just expected. It just makes less issues for them, and really a deck list sheet will take you minimal amount of time, and it just solves so many problems that could be caused later in the event. But yeah, besides that, I'd say good luck and just try and have fun with it. Try and enjoy it. Don't get caught up in the losses and try and enjoy the wins really. But from that, yeah, I will go on to Blue Steel, and this is a list, and I can't remember how much I changed this to one practice session. And I changed a lot of it around, but yeah, it's sort of this is a very standard looking curve one. For Blue Steel players, you've got a few different tech options, I'd say. So starting off, this is entirely for the Mickey build. I think if you're playing an OGA build, just put Tyler in here and don't worry about what I'm about to say. But for Mickey builds, you've got, of course, all the options. You've got Argus, you've got Captain Hook, and the Cleaner. What I'm finding is I think there'll be a lot of red purple, and I want to because I'm doing 8. I'm going to bring Argus to start with, and see how that actually performs for me in an actual tournament. But going forward from that, I believe Cleaner, I believe even the most basic of Green Steel players can play around this broom. They just won't exert until they have an answer for it, and you deny some card draw, but I'm pretty sure they'll find an answer. The answer can be play an extra character, strength it, or move it to the cove and then just ignore it. So that they will be able to play around it. I think if you can't, you probably shouldn't be on Green Steel. And a few other things as well. If you're finding a lot of mirrors or something, if somehow my videos have been so popular that now everyone is on Blue Steel, I say it as a joke. Hades is a good answer for the mirror because Lig is good. Let it go. Don't write Lig on a deck list sheet. Hades is very good. Let It Go is very good because, like I say, you're going to get to a point where you're just setting up Cogsworths and like any damage removal won't work. So instant removal. Hades is very good because it will be like, I'm going to take one thing off your board and then I'm going to play a 2-quester. Even if you play Hades onto a Smee, it's like you're down a 2-quester and I'm up a 2-quester and he's really big and he probably won't die. It might force them to just cast on you as well. But that's another good tech option in there. This is a bit of an off-brand comment from Blue Steel. As I said, please enjoy the list. Remember, it does brick sometimes. It has a high ink count. You'll play it to your best ability. I say Blue Steel bricks. Every deck bricks, but Blue Steel, yeah. I know what the players are thinking. If you've played this deck long enough, you have them crushing games where, you're like, I'm mulligan away. I found a Porpsicle and I'm mulligan away 6, and you get like 2 Whole New Worlds, 2 Dimes, and a Zeus, and it's just unbearable, isn't it? That does happen, and you're just going to have to accept that. Try not to let that knock you. But if it does knock you, this is the sort of off-branded comment. If you want to have a second deck prepared, that isn't Blue Steel, I think that's fine as well. If you're getting so tilted by some bad draws on Blue Steel, don't just keep hammering it. Try something else. I have a red-purple built. I tried testing it. I probably won't play it, actually, to be honest with you. But, just have another thing built up. Another thing, maybe that you're more comfortable. Not more comfortable, another tech that you're like, hey, I wouldn't mind playing this as well. Also, if you've got some wins on Blue Steel, it's quite common for Store Champs people to be like, okay, I'm just going to play a fun deck now. So I'm going to go play Talman Purple's location deck. That could be cool as well. If you've done what you wanted to achieve with it, and you've still got more Store Champs booked up, maybe just swap off the deck. But besides that, I think, yeah, everyone's can watch all the other videos me talking about Blue Steel, and hopefully they help. And just going to say, probably we'll do another video before Store Champs, but yeah, good luck with that.